If you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator Bait. If you ain't a Gator, you must be Gator Bait.
Welcome back and welcome in to another episode of If You Ain't a Gator podcast. Tonight we have a very, very special guest. We got our man Clifford Taylor with us tonight. How you doing tonight, man? Appreciate you coming on.
Man, appreciate y'all having me. Thank you.
Kyle, you doing good tonight, bro?
Oh, yeah. Yep. Just another day.
Just another day in the neighborhood.
Scratching and surviving.
Well, we are going to hang out with Clifford. We're going to learn about his journey to getting on the Gators football team and what he thinks about the Gators now. And then a little later in the episode, we're going to be breaking down the Florida versus Oklahoma game and talking about who we definitely believe should be Mr. Two Bits there. And we're going to be breaking down the linebackers. So hang out with us, comment. It's going to be a fun show tonight. But yeah, so I will get it kicked off. We'll start off real easy. I need to know your time on the Florida football team. Who was your favorite teammate?
Well, from a personal standpoint, I would say Josiah Pierre at the time.
Okay.
He came from Orlando, then he transferred to Texas Tech. But after that, I think the go-to answer would have to be Kyle Pitts. Either one, Kyle Trask or Kyle Pitts, either one of them.
Okay.
Nice.
And then I was watching your YouTube videos. I watched them before, but I wanted to watch them again on your journey of being a walk-on. I heard you say in there that Florida was your dream school.
Mm-hmm.
What made Florida your dream school, being where you're from? What brought that about?
Just the legacy factor, man. I mean, my dad went there. I had a whole bunch of relatives that went there. So I went to my first Gator game back in, I want to say 2006. I think it was Florida, Georgia. From that point on, honestly, way before, but from that point on, I just knew. I was like, all right, Florida's it.
Yeah.
Like, that was around the time where it was like the Gators would lose, and boy, I was crying. Like
Yeah.
my whole weekend was like shut down. Nowadays, like we lose, it's like, what you gonna do? So yeah, back then, like I was just always a diehard Gator fan. So much so, when I was a kid, my mom would threaten to ground me because I would always wear Gator gear everywhere. I'm talking about I would wear it in the house. You know, in school when I wasn't supposed to, we wore uniforms. I would wear it at church because at my church back in the day, you could wear whatever. But I would always wear the same orange Gator jersey that I had since I was like 5 years old. Even if it didn't fit me, I would just squeeze it on it. And then it got to a point I just cut the sleeves off. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna do that. So yeah, now Florida, that's always been my dream school. And so fortunately I was book smart. And so it's so crazy because it's like every memory of UF, like I still remember like the back of my head, because it's like I remember the application, I remember the questions they asked, like all that. Like it's different when it comes to Florida for me. So, I applied, and so fortunately I was book smart, and then I found out on senior day that I got in, and I think I dropped like a smooth 20 that night. Like that was one of the better days of my high school life. So getting in, I just knew from that point on, couldn't nobody tell me anything.
Yeah.
I only had a few months left of school anyway, so I was like, oh, I could just kick it. You know what I'm saying? I already did the ACT, I already did the SAT, killed those. I'm like, all right, cool. And what was crazy was going into Florida. So I think a few months prior, me and my girlfriend at the time had broken up. So, I was like, you couldn't get me out of bed, couldn't do nothing. So, my dad, being the jokester he is, he would just laugh at me. And I'm like, yo, what is funny? And he would always tell me the same thing over and over. He's like, son, where are you about to go to school? I was a nerd in high school, y'all. So I didn't really get the clue. So I was like, Florida. So, man, I'm telling you, without saying too much, man, all it took was orientation, bro. As soon as all I did was walk down University Ave. I'm like, I'm killed. So, yeah. So I got there, and actually, I tried doing some digging, trying to walk on to the basketball team, actually. So, there was this page back in the day called, I think it's still around, called the Gator Chomp, and they had connects out the wazoo. So I was like, yo, if you could put in the words of one of the coaches, that'd be great. Funny enough, the coach that responded back was Dusty May, now the Dallas Mavericks coach. I was like, oh, like I might be in there. So reached out to him. We stayed in contact, and then what ended up happening as I got there, they gave the spots to the team managers, which to their credit, I mean, I would watch these guys shoot before, like I would they were snipers.
Yeah.
For me, it was like one of those, like, I know I can't shoot that good. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad at it. So, yeah, so my freshman year, I was just doing intramural basketball at Southwest Rec, just having a blast. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes the players would come in and I would just keep my friends. I would just show my whole ass in that gym. I just go crazy. But yeah, my freshman year, it was chill. I mean, I was just a regular student. That was the first time I didn't have any team sports. So It was cool to kind of have that freedom, but it was weird at the same time. So freshman year just came and went. We won't talk about football season that year. We was like 4-8 or whatever. That was 2017. And then that next year, when Coach Mullen came in, and I remember when they switched to Jordan, and I honestly wasn't even a fan. Fun fact.
Really?
Fun fact. And this sounds sacrilegious.
JB hates Jordans too.
So yeah, this sounds sacrilegious coming from North Carolina, but I didn't get my first pair of J's until I was on the team. Believe it or not. I didn't get my first because my parents would always hit me with that. You got some Jordan retro money? You got some, and I'm like, I don't. You got me there. So
was your first pair of Jordans like a player exclusive?
Yeah, it was. It was the fours. Yeah, it was the fours that we got before the Orange Bowl. Those are the first pair I got. Well, unless you count cleats, but I mean,
no, yeah, I'm talking about what you can walk around, university with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was the first pair, but yeah. And then my sophomore year, I was just, again, a student, just chilling, just having a good time, enjoying life as a student. I think the cool thing about it was sometimes I would go to these parties because, like, I was relatively tall compared to the average people. So people would ask me all the time if I was like, if I played a sport and this, that, and the third. And so I would tell them, I'm like, no, I don't play a sport. So I vividly remember this soccer player. One time I was at this party and she called me a nerd. And at first I thought it was like some type of slur or something like that. So I was like, what you talking about? And she's like, what's a nerd? And they're like, normal ass regular person or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's funny, but I don't like it. I don't like it. So fast forward, like I think a few weeks later, me and my boys decided to do intramural flag football. They all played football. I didn't. So funny enough, I had to go to the Marshalls over there by Archer and the Dick's Sporting Goods. I just had to get some like turf shoes. Marshall's got everything. So they had everything in the size 14. So I went back there and I got some turf shoes and I was like, cool, we're just gonna rock out with this. And so one night I just went crazy. And then my guy Robert, he just, almost like a scene out of a movie. He asked me if I ever thought about playing, man. I looked him square in his face and I was like, no. Like I ain't never played football. I mean, unless you count recess, I ain't never played no football. So he was pretty much giving me like the X's and O's. And I was like, it sounds good, but I'm like, I'm not built for this. Because at the time I was like 200 pounds, maybe 210 on a good day, something like that. And so that week led up to playing LSU. So that was the same game that Tebow was put in the Ring of Honor. And so just the vibes that whole day was just crazy. And so obviously we ended up winning. And then I just like started just looking around the stadium. And I was just like, I just kind of got like the chills in the moment. And I was just like, okay. And so I went back to my apartment and I was like, you only live college once. Why not? Why not? So literally from that point on, I vividly remember it was two different reactions. I called my mom about it. I'm like, I think I'm gonna give it a shot. Petrified. I called my dad about it. He was like, what took you so long? Because he played football forever, but I was just solely focused on basketball. And so, and then from there, I just started just doing some deep dives. So fortunately enough, I knew some of the players already. So I was like, yo, who do I need to talk to? And so I ended up talking to VB. So shout out VB. And so I was like, yo, man, I was like, I'm interested in trying out. So we spoke a little bit. And so he was like, do you have any film? And I'm like, this is where it stops right here. So I'm like, okay, do I say no? Do I try to make some film in the next 5-10 minutes? I'm like, I'm just going to show him my basketball film, show him my athleticism, and we'll go from there. So that's what I did. And so we stayed in touch. And then I'll never forget that meeting we had. It was only like, I'm thinking it's going to be 100 people in there. It was only like 10 people in there. Like during the Mullen era, walk-on tryouts was like, it was beyond low key. So I go in there, it's like 10 people. I go to a tryout, it's like 4 people. And I'm like, okay. And the crazy thing about that tryout, so it was like during the dead period. So it wasn't no football involved, wasn't like none of that. So it was just straight conditioning and agility. That's all you do in basketball. So I was like, oh, I got this in the bag. This gonna be easy. So I'm like, whole time I'm trying out and I'm like being over dramatic and I'm like, I don't want to sound crazy, but like, am I about to finesse my way to this football team right now? Is that what's happening? So tryout went great. It was like 40-something minutes. And then they told me, like, you'll be on the team. I just got to wait till the summer just because of my class schedule. So part of me was excited, but part of me was like, man, they going to forget about me, man. They going to forget. And so one of my other guys that made it, Mike Weir, he was a running back. And so he's posting everything in the locker room, his uniform on the spring game. So like me, I'm so envious. I'm like, dang, I should be there right now. Honestly, looking back at it, like how it got started, I'm like, God ain't ever wrong. God ain't never wrong. So fast forward to like May or June, I'm on the team. Next thing you know, I'm training. And then when I met Coach Savage, it was like, yo, I've seen you on social media. And it's like, yo, you my coach now. So he's like, hey, big guy, you ready to train? I'm like, yeah, like let's do it. And funny enough, he still texts me every year on my birthday to this very year. So it's
that's awesome.
Man, so I love Coach Savage. So man, they got me from, I think I was like 220 at the time. They got me to like 240 in like a month and a half because like we were eating. It got to a point, man, we were eating like Chick-fil-A for snack. we would have ribs for dinner. I'm telling you, like the victory meals, that's one thing I miss. If I don't miss anything else, man, no victory meals, man.
What was the go-to victory meal?
Oh, man, I used to get a little bit of everything. First, got to start with the salad and fruit. So I always get like a tray of Caesar salad and then like grapes, pineapples, and things like that. And then the next tray, you get your mac and cheese, right? So that's one, because I love mac and cheese. So that's one. Then you get to the good stuff. Then you get to like the fried shrimp, the steak, the salmon. So like I'd probably get like two trays of that. I'm telling you, like my hands would be full on the way back to the stand. My hands were never empty. So we had that, and then if we won, we would have like ice cream bars and things like that. So like the victory meals, I don't know what they like now, but victory meals during the Mullen era, I still think about it to this day.
So I got a question about the position. So we know you chose tight end. I heard you talk about in the video that you said that you looked and like basketball players were known for, if they transitioned over into football, it was tight end or it was wide receiver. Was there ever a point that any of the coaches tried to get you to try like D-line, or was it just from the jump it was like, yeah, he's going to be tight end, like the size? And I know like with basketball, like rebounding, things like that, like good with the hands. Was that just it from the jump, or was there any discussions about any positions elsewhere?
There were discussions going into my senior year, but when I first got there, it was tight end. Like I told him, like I want to play tight end. Like that is it. And so yeah, I just I played tight end. And so funny enough, so Coach Scott, who's the tight end coach now at Auburn, so I got a funny Coach Scott moment. So I'll never forget. So Kimura, Gamble, he just I think he had just twisted his hair or something like that. And so this is like a week or two in on the team, and so I had no idea what they were talking about on the screen, like the plays and all that. I had no idea. I was just happy to be there at that point. And so I never forget. Coach Scott said something about Gamble's like hair, and everybody's laughing. So I'm trying to blend in, so I start laughing. Coach Scott looks at me and goes, "And what the F are you laughing at?" Like, and I literally just stuck there in my chair. I was like, nothing. He's like, what the hell are you laughing at? And I was just like, oh. Yeah, this is different. This is different. And it was funny too, man, because shout out Lucas, because I think he's with the Broncos now. Lucas Crow, he's with the Broncos. Before I was on the team, him and I was like cool. Like I was seeing him out, and I was like, yo, what up, fam? Like good game and all that. As soon as I got on the team, it was like a light just like switch. And to this day, I have no idea. I was just like, was it something I said? Was it something that I like, to this day? But I mean, there's no harm, no foul there. Like I said, I'm happy for all the guys. But yeah, I mean, it was just like, it was almost like I took his girlfriend or something. I was like, I know I didn't do that. That's your lane. So yeah, but it's all good. He's killing it now with the Broncos. But yeah, I mean, like soon as I got there, and then when I started learning the plays, man, I'm telling you, it was like them cheat codes that we used to write down for off the PlayStation. I mean, I remember, man, our first install quiz, I ain't gonna lie, I had like a smooth, because I was just guessing to the best of my ability, man. Because I'm like, okay. I'm like, I know what a dig is. I know what an out is. Like, I knew those, but what the hell is 82 Gonzaga or what the hell, 82? Like I'm like, what am I looking at? So I'm just like guessing. Man, I got like a 37 out of 100 on that. So I never get. So like after that day, our GA, Julian Alonzo at the time, actually he just got married too, so shout out to him. But man, I remember telling him, I was like, Julian, I'm like, look, man, I was like, look, I'm gonna keep it a bean. I know I'm not gonna play, but I don't want our room to look stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like I knew I wasn't playing. At the time, we had nine tight ends. We're talking Lucas, Kyle, Kamori, Dante, Zip, and then the walk-ons, myself, Sal, Trey, Dennis, and I was like 9. Like I knew I was 9. So I was like, look, man, I know I'm not playing, but I don't want to look stupid around the guys because they're not going to respect that. So literally, I never forget that night. Everybody else went to the hotel. I ended up sleeping in the stadium. That after day 1, I ended up sleeping there, and I was like, okay. I was like, I got to figure this out. Like I know I'm never gonna get in, but I'm like, I got to figure it out. So, figured it out eventually, and I was just like, okay, at least the guys can carry a conversation. Because when I first got in, the only people that would talk to me was Kyle and the walk-on guys. That was it. Because Kyle was cool with everybody, and so later down the line, especially my senior year, once I figured it out, it was like, okay, now I'm having fun. Football's a lot more fun when you know what's going on. Man, it was they would hit me with a couple of these, and I'm like, I got you. I'll be happy as hell. I'm like, you want me to run that? Okay, cool. Cool. No, I'll never forget. So one time they had me run like a little over route. It was around the end of practice. I knew it was garbage time, so they run an over route. I'm like, bet. Ran that over route, snagged it, went for a touchdown. I turn around, the whole offense is going crazy. I'm like, I'm just so all right, I just made a catch. On to the next play. Everybody's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah. So yeah, those 2 years, man, they just really the 4 years in general, but those last 2 years on that team, man, I learned so much about just like a brotherhood, like a work ethic. You learn a lot about that in basketball, but football is different, man. And so I think the best part about it is now I look at football with a completely different lens.
Right. And
so now whenever I go on Gator Twitter now, it's honestly hilarious because sometimes I just sit back and I go, this boy don't know what the hell he's talking about. It's cool to see it from that perspective, but yeah. But yeah, man, it's just anytime I go back to the swamp, it's so much fun, and it honestly makes me emotional because it's that was it for me, man. That was the dream. So
right.
And one more story. So on graduation day, when they played Won't Back Down, I told myself, I was like, man, please don't cry in this O-Dome. Please don't cry in this O-Dome. So I held it together. Man, as soon as I walked out and I hugged my dad. I was just a wreck. I was just a wreck because it's in that moment, all of it hit me. I didn't never envision my 4 years going like that.
Yeah.
Being a student, I thought I was gonna be a student. Football, I was that was just wishful thinking. And I'm the fact that I can have that story for the fact that I get to walk in here, do my work every day, see that Orange Bowl jersey for the rest of my life. It's one of those things where it's you can't take that away. And I think the best part about it now is communicating with Gator fans, especially on Twitter. It's a lot of fun. I knew I was gonna get people with that little bit I did today when I was talking about because
bro, the
jersey number,
the 45 retirement thing was.
Oh man, it's great. Some of those guys just ran with it.
I thought that was great. I actually mentioned that when on our last show on Tuesday. I was like, hey, no one's wearing 45. I was like, put some respect on it.
I kind of, after hearing your story, I kind of feel like Jalen Jordan is a guy that I guess went to the pro day at Florida and played basketball, was trying out in the NFL for tight end. Similar story, right? Basketball to football with tight end. I felt like he was a shoo-in for that 45.
Yeah.
And just didn't rock it.
What do you think is going through his mind right now, going from basketball to tight end?
Honestly,
he sounds like a hell of an athlete.
Did he play football before? or no?
I don't know if I think he played in high school, but I don't think where he went to school that they had a football team at all. So I don't think he played at all in college, and now he's basically coming in for a year and trying to pull an Antonio Gates.
Well, he's in a much better place than I am. I'll tell him that. I'll tell you that. Because back then I was like, God help me. But I mean, if he already played football, he's already got the foundation pieces there.
Yeah.
Playbook and all that, I'm sure that'll be second nature.
Yeah, your story is unique just because no football history, no Pee-wee, no middle school, no high school, just basketball, just balling out, and then going into, walking on, right? I mean, it's kind of everybody on the couch is kind of looking at it going, man, maybe I can do that too. But I think you've got some athletic genes that some guys weren't born with. But what would you say was your, like, looking at, you were in that room with Kyle Pitts, right? So what was your moment when you saw him do something and you were like, yeah, I'm never going to be able to do that?
Well, honestly, I would say once he became the sole starter my junior year, and he would just walk into practice with a different swagger. Because I feel like in camp, Kyle was like trying to prove something.
Yeah.
And so I would kind of sit back and tell Julian, I'm like, Julian, I ain't no like psychic, or I ain't no genius, but I'm like, he's the best tight end we got.
Right.
I mean, like he doesn't drop a pass. Like he runs the right routes, the perfect depth. He's got the speed and the strength for it. I'm like, he's the best tight end we got. Now, when it comes to the trenches, give that to Dante, give that to Gamble, give that to Lucas all day.
Right.
When it comes to like overall being a hybrid, he was by far,
he
was by far the best. And so I think once he started practicing with no gloves on, that's when I was like, okay. Like he's
just flexing on you guys now.
He's on a different pedestal.
Yeah.
And then that next year, like I think one thing about Coach Brewster, he already knew what he had with Kyle. So he pretty much let Kyle just be him. He wasn't trying to like, and so did Coach Scott too, but like Brewster was like, he already knew like Kyle is the guy.
Right. Cheat code.
Be the guy. Feed him the rock however many times you need to. So even that first game, like to say I was surprised, honestly, I really wasn't, because it was just like, again, he would just always dominate in practice, and he would make practice easy for all of us. And some of that, just like some of those gifts he had, it just fed off of all of us. We had John Odom, who was a freshman at the time. I think that was Kyle's little bro at the time. And so everyone just rallied around him. And then even when he went down, like those guys stepped up, like Gamble stepped up, they all stepped up in a big way. And honestly, in kind of a selfish way though, too, sometimes it was like when Kyle was hurt, I kind of told myself, I'm like, no, I'm not going to play, but we're
getting a little closer on the
getting a little closer. So I just continue to just to do my job. But now, like I said, his gifts, man, I mean, they just fed off of a lot of people, because like our tight end room in 2020, I feel like it doesn't get talked about a lot. Yeah, but it should, because like there was one game Zip went crazy. I think it was Arkansas. It was Arkansas. Zip went nuts that game, and then a couple games later, Gamble went crazy against Vanderbilt, and they just kept feeding off each other. And then when you bring Kyle back in the fold, it's like, okay, so like we got one of the, in my eyes, that's one of the best tight end rooms ever.
Yeah.
And so he was so gifted, and then when I saw him get that extension, man, I was just like, like even though he plays for the Ops, I'm a fan, but it's like I can't help but like just be like, I don't like the Falcons, but
I like him.
You do something
as a Bucks fan, and I'm sure as you as a Panthers fan, we were both kind of hoping maybe they didn't work that deal out and he could stay in the NFC South.
Yeah.
So question for you, because I know you said about like learning the playbook, everything like that, but the biggest thing that like keeps running through my mind, even watching the videos and just talking to you here, I get like learning a playbook. That's, you're sitting down, you're looking over it, and even being at practice, running like just on air, things like that, like throwing on air. What was it like putting on a helmet, putting on the pads, and running a route and having to actually make contact? Like, you're a big dude, so it's not like you're just some small. I'm like 5'9", so me running out there getting hit by these linebackers, like, it sucks. But what was that like taking a shot for the first time? You're like, okay, this is football.
I'll tell you. Fortunately, I didn't. I didn't really get like my block knocked off a lot my junior year, but my senior year, there's one hit that I still think is responsible for a lot of my headaches now. And so it was like this, I want to say maybe the 4th or 5th day. And, you know, when you're on special teams, kickoff coverage, that can either be a 1 meal ticket, a course meal ticket, or a death sentence. So I'm lined up and they're like, get L3. So I'm like, cool, L3. Do my assignment, 4 to 6 seconds of strain, cool, we good. So I'm like, 1, 2. And I'm looking and I was like, 6. I was like, is that a scout player? I'm like, I don't think anybody wears number 6 to my knowledge. I'm like, who's number 6? So I'm looking, I'm like, all right, I guess I'll figure it out. Boy, did I figure it out. So man, I went down and I'm talking about just like, I thought my helmet was gonna pop out. I was like, boom. I was just like, oh, like I got stiff for a second. And then I got a closer look. Like I was like, okay, hold on. Let me just tighten my helmet a little bit. I'm like, who was number 6? And then as soon as he pulled his dreads up and it said Davis, and I was like, oh, that's Sean. I was like, oh, Sean. Okay. I'm like, well, damn, bro. Tell me next time before you just like knock my block off. But yeah, man, putting them pads on for the first time, it was wild because it was like I ain't know no better. I mean, even in that video I did about the 45, I mean, they gave me the biggest shoulder pads they could find. They gave me the biggest ones they could find. And so I told EQ because they were like, "You want us to get you some smaller ones?" I was like, "No. I want to grow into them." So like my first, I mean, you can go back and look. My first media day, I mean, I looked. When I tell you like a generic Madden player, like when you create a player and everything's like generic, the biggest shoulder pad, no drip, I was just like, all right, I'm here. But yeah, putting them pads on, it's a different ball game. It's a different ball game for sure. It's one of those things where it's like, man, you take just wearing the shields for granted because it's like you think like, oh, this is tough. When we put them pads on, it's a whole different beast. So when we would put them on Monday through Wednesday during the practice, during the work week, as we would call it, oh yeah, it gets heavier and heavier after a while because that's the thing. It's like you could understand the playbook, you know, in the film room, but when it's time to put it on the field, it's like sometimes you just go dark. It just goes dark. You just like, what do I do? Like, I know this, but I'm like, what do I do? But yeah, no, it's definitely different than putting a basketball.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Who was the toughest one-on-one matchup in basketball? Did you play any one-on-one basketball with any of the guys?
So we I don't mean to toot my own horn, but like I think I was one of the best basketball players on the team.
Oh, that's why I'm trying to figure out if were you the big dog for basketball one-on-one?
The only one, actually there was 2 because we had like a little basketball tournament during the offseason workouts. There were 2, and they were Gainesville's finest: Trent Whittemore and Anthony Richardson.
Wow. Okay.
When I talk about like dual sport athletes, those 2, man, it was just like. But everybody else, I was just like, man, give me the rock. I'm just gonna handle everybody. But then we had a little dunk contest, and you know, I did like because I've never really been an athletic dunker, so I just do a little reverse woman. Man, AR did like almost like a whole 720. I'm like, damn. I'm like, and then Trent did like an East Bay, and I was just like, y'all got it. Oh,
that's y'all. Yeah, I've seen Anthony Richardson like dunking on video. I'm like, all right, that's like some freak athletic ability.
They are so gifted when it comes to athleticism.
I have another question for you, but we're gonna answer this here real quick. $5 from Gator Jeremy. It says, where can I buy a 45 jersey, and why do you use the number 8 when you create your team on NCAA football live streams?
I'd like to know where you can buy a 45 jersey. I'd like to know. I think the best answer would be going to Fanatics and then just like customizing that thing. That would probably be my best guess. Reason I wear number 8, so 8 has always been my favorite number. And so one thing about it, so I think around 2023 or 2024. So I feel like at that time, from a content standpoint, I feel like 45 was just it was just carrying in a sense. But I'm like, I always felt like 45, that was just an era in time. It was the greatest era of my life. Don't get me wrong. But then it was like one of those things where it's like, I kind of want to just go back to having fun because, you know, numbers are symbolic for a lot of people. And so like growing up, whenever I would play like like Little League basketball stuff, I would always get that number 8. I couldn't wear it in high school because of like regulations and stuff like that. But if I could, then I would. But yeah, 8 has always been, my favorite number. So I was just like, you know what, let's go back to like having fun like we did when I was a kid. And so now whenever I go to game, and it's so cool because like now they not only do they throw number 8, but like I think the coolest thing about it is, and it might be a little deal to some, but it's like a big deal to me. It's like whenever they throw my suffix in there, because like I tell my dad all the time, because like I show him all the stuff, and I'm like man, this is us. Like look what you like look what you did. Like this is us. And so I put that suffix, and I'm like Dad, this ain't me. This is us. And so I think that's really cool. And so that's why I rock number 8, like with my like Road to Glory series. Now, when I do a tight end series, I'm probably gonna wear number 45. But like every other position, 8.
Yeah. So I know I got one more question for you, and we'll let you get out of here. You were around with Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen, last winning coach, to be at Gainesville, and then we went through, that era there, I guess you'd say. Yeah. John Summerall being around now, I know that Dan Mullen and John Summerall are very different coaches when it comes to like an attitude standpoint, things like that. But what do you see in the sense of like a mindset of winning from John Summerall that you could compare to like when Mullen was there and what he brought to the team from a winning standpoint?
I think the urgency. I think whenever I hear John talk, I hear quite a bit of Coach Mullen. Because like his eagerness to just like, because he wants to win now. Forget next year. He's in win now mode. And so like whenever I had conversations with Coach Mullen and even players before I got there, they were like, yeah, when we first got here, Mullen was like, it was no like messing around. It was just like, yo, we need to win now. Like Gainesville, Gator Nation, we ain't got no patience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and so that's one thing. That's one thing I realized during the Billy era. It's like, this patient stuff is getting old because, me, I always try to keep it like positive and optimistic and things like that. But it's like, it gets to a point where it's like, what are we doing? So I see like the sense of urgency and also just like the energy and just getting juiced up, not to just wear the patch, but like coach these young men. And so from what I've heard, like, I don't really talk to the guys like that, but from what I've heard, like a lot of the guys have bought in like that whole gauntlet. When I saw that little docuseries when they were talking about the gauntlet, I'm like, that gave me deja vu of like our off-season workouts because I'm talking about it's just a grind for like an hour and a half, just straight grit, guts, glory, like this, that, and the third. It's like you just got to push yourself, and if you don't, I love that they start over, they do it again. So like for me personally, watching from afar, it's like not only do I see Summerall or Mullen and Summerall, but I see a lot of our strength staff at the time, and like getting rid of a lot of the turf in there, having like a new set. Like I've seen pictures of it, and I'm just like, oh no, he's dead serious.
Yeah.
And so I think the biggest thing too is it's like you keep the good pieces that are there. And that's one thing about it. It's like when we kept Katie, I was like, all right, cool. We kept Katie. I don't know how you pronounce her last name now. Katie Decker?
Yeah, it's hyphenated. Yeah.
It's spelled funky, like DOECK, something like that. But I'm like, when they kept Katie, I was like, okay, so recruiting, I know we're gonna be fine. And then when we got Buster from GT, I was like, okay, offense. That's one thing that I've just been like, just
light up that scoreboard, yeah.
Just air that thing, just air it out, man. Air it. Like that's one thing about it. It's like the last few coaches we had, like before Mullen and after Mullen, and then post Meyer. It was like they were afraid to just air it out, man. Just like air it out. We want to see the ball because like our receiving group this year, I mean, on paper, like that's the best one I've seen since 2019 when we had like Freddie and we had Josh and Tyree and like Van and all those guys. Like this is the best group we've had since, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And so it's like keep these guys healthy. So I mean, keep knocking on wood. Haven't had many injuries during camp. We got a couple more days left, but just keep knocking on wood. But yeah, I think more than anything that urgency, and I think that's going to feed off of a lot of people this season. So I'm excited to see how he does. Like I'm not going to sit here and expect like a national championship, even though of course I would love that. But like in a realistic world, we got a ways to go. And I would love to be ahead of schedule, but just looking at the grand scheme of things. So watching especially that first game on my phone, I'm gonna be watching two positions: the O-line and the secondary. So if those guys do what they're supposed to do, then the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. Well, before we let you get out of here, two things. Give me a record prediction for this season, and then tell everybody where they can find you.
So I had 8-4. I had 8-4, but I mean 12-0. But I had 8-4, and yeah, I mean you can find me on TikTok at Clifford, at Clifford Taylor IV on Instagram and Twitch and things like that, and then on Twitter it's Cliff Taylor IV. Funny story, I actually tried to get Clifford on X, and the little bot, like the X support bot, came back telling my son, "You got to pay $15,000." I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm good. I'm beyond good. So it's exciting because they actually got a scrimmage this weekend. I'm actually going up to Gainesville for that. I wasn't gonna go, but I was like, well, since I can't go to week 1, I gotta go to that. So I'm gonna end up going to that, and definitely going to week 2. Definitely intrigued to see those funky uniforms. I'm not completely sold
on the Broncos looking one.
Yeah, like I see what they did, like vice versa, but I don't know.
That's the weakest one of all of them. I like the all blues though. The all blues look sharp.
Oh, the all blue. See, and honestly, I think I jinxed it in that video I did talking about it. So I was like, you can't go wrong either way. But I was like, damn, we ain't getting no orange, blue this year. Damn. So holding out hope for maybe the bowl game, but yeah, that all blue. I just hope when we play, I just hope it's a night game. All blue at night. I was like, all blue at 3:30. It's cool, but it's like it ain't gonna hit like the night. So we'll see. A lot of excitement though, for sure.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I know it's kind of funky, and I was like real upset with it when I first saw like kind of like the image of it. But they put it on Miles Graham. I was like, yeah, all right, I'm not that mad at it. Or maybe he just pulls it off. Well, I don't know, but I was like,
if they put you in it, JB, we'd probably have some issues.
It'd look a little funky. If I put any jersey on, I'm gonna look funky over there.
I actually hit up EQ. I'm like, look, I'm not asking, but I'm just saying, like, look, if y'all got any spare throwback 45s in there,
throw them my way.
Like if they printed one by mistake, they printed one by mistake, throw it in there.
But you see this spot right here, like I'm just saying it could be in a frame and up there by next week if you want to send it this way.
I'm telling you, man.
Well, bro, we really appreciate you coming on. It really does mean a lot. You gave us, a ton of time and some great stories. We'll have to get you back on later in the season, see where we're at, and see how we're feeling about this team.
You going to be shooting any content at the scrimmage or the Campbell game?
Oh, no. So, like, usually at scrimmages, they're usually like, don't show nothing. I get it because they're planning, but I might post a little story outside the stadium, being like, "Hey, home." But after that, no. Now during the season, and all the alum, they'll tell you, anytime they're in the red zone,
phones are out.
Phones out.
Especially when you got some like Buster calling plays, you got to have the phones out.
Oh yeah,
something's gonna happen.
Well, you know, if Vernell hits a deep ball, he's gonna come find you if you're sitting there in the end zone with the phone out.
Man, one of the best moments I captured was when Dallas scored his second touchdown against Texas. Oh my God, it was one of those things where it's like he scored, and it was just like I panned the camera around. I'm just like. That's the guy. That's the guy. So So I'm real excited for this season. Like anytime we get college football back, you know what I'm saying? This is always a good time. So I'm looking forward to it. And man, go Gators. If you ain't a Gator, you're Gator Bait. So shout out to that one.
Yeah, man. Again, thanks for coming on. It seriously means the world. And again, we'll have to link up again and see where we're at during the season. And if we're up in Gainesville at the same time, we got to link up there too.
Oh yeah, no, I'll tell you, like every game, I just go to the white tents. I just find the victorious tent.
Yeah, that's where I'll be too. Hell yeah!
All right, man. Well, you have a good night. Again, we appreciate it.
All right, too, guys. Thank y'all so much.
You too,
all right, man. Take care.
Go Gators.
Go Gators. Clifford Taylor, everybody. Clifford Taylor, always a good time. That was a great interview. Honestly, it's one thing to learn about somebody who coming up through the high school ranks and they have the stars and they have, all this about them. And then to be able to hear it from the other side, and hear that walk-on story and, God blessed him with a 6'5" frame, but to be able to learn a playbook and to even be at practice and to be able to take hits and everything like that. I mean, it's a lot for someone who's never done it before. So
Well, I mean, everybody that played like high school ball, then they go to a big university, right? Whether it's Florida or anywhere else, they didn't have offers, right? Maybe they couldn't cut it. They all dream about that, right? Like, oh,
right.
I'll just show up to tryouts and give it a go. So for him to do that and then make it, I mean, it's an incredible, especially absolutely no football background.
Yeah.
Going into it, I didn't even know that until I did some research. I'm like, wow, really? Like, I
Yeah.
thought at least, we played some high school or something and just walked on, but
Yeah.
I
mean,
I'm sure that first spring practice with pads, like the first time you put pads on, you've never put them on. Like,
right.
it had to, like, and you're practicing, in the indoor or at the swamp during a scrimmage, like, and then that first tunnel walkout, it's got to be, especially when you're in a
Mind-blowing.
legacy like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, again, I had to ask that question. Like, that question's been sitting on me all day. Is like, what was it like learning that playbook is one thing, but I mean, you're going across the middle and you're about to take a shot from some grown men that are out there. And to him talk about taking a shot from Sean Davis, it's like, yeah, I'm good. Like, I'm real good. I'll sit here with the jersey on like this and talk about it, but yeah, I don't want to do it. But yeah, that was a great interview. Glad he was able to come on and tell us his background and whatnot. Real quick, your hoodie, so fire. Love it. I saw it in the comments and yeah, so clean. But yeah, so we will dive. It's weird to transition from such a great interview, but
it's only downhill from here.
Yeah. We kicked it off like this. So stay and hang out with us. We're going to jump on into the linebacker room, which I guess if we're going to talk about something, this is one to talk about because this is some studs right here. I'll let you kick us off and just, give me your breakdown of this linebacker room because we got some dudes in here.
Yeah. I think if you look at each position group on this team, I think outside of the wide receiver room, there is no stronger group on this entire team than the linebacker room.
Right.
Because unlike pretty much every other group on the field for the most part, there were no portal additions, right? Other than, I guess you count TJ Bullard, but, he's going to be, I think, more of a special teams piece. But as far as guys that we're going to see in the rotation, like it's all homegrown guys from high school, right? Leaders, legacies. Like to me, it's kind of like almost like a storybook. Like you couldn't have written this better. Like Miles Graham's story could go down as like, when it's all said and done, if he becomes and hits his potential, like that could be a movie, right? Your dad's a legendary running back. You commit to Florida, you stick through it. You don't go in the portal. You don't leave. You finish it out. You build that foundation and you continue on that legacy. And this is going to be an exciting room because I think of all of the rooms as well, I think this room probably has the highest expectations and probably the highest demands because not only do you have a new DC with Brad White and a new position coach with Greg Gasparato, but you've got former SEC linebacker, all SEC linebacker in your head coach, right, with Summerall. So I think he has a high expectation. I think Brad and Gasparato do too for this group. And it's a group that we've got some great, like veteran leader guys, right? And Miles and Jaden. And we've seen some flashes with Childs. But I think what's another storyline in this is getting guys that are the kind of the future, right? Then getting them to step up and potentially have to fill these shoes, especially when Jaden leaves, and then eventually Miles and Aaron. With Ty Jackson and Miles Johnson, two top 5 linebackers at their position when they came out of high school, and so for me, this room really is kind of, by far and away the best group we've got on defense, and could make an argument that because we know what we have with this room versus maybe the wide receiver where we've got some transfers, this is, we're returning basically all of the production at linebacker.
Yeah. I think that this room right here, I think and it's obvious. I think it's just like talking about Jaden Ball on offense, right? I think the leader of this defense is going to be Miles Graham. I think everything is going to flow through him. I think he is going to be your head honcho out there. And Deservingly so. I think the way that he can command and the way he plays and just the way he makes things happen, I think that's why it's going to go through him. I think we have great players out there, but he's going to be the one who's going to be the voice of that defense. And he's going to be the one, again, I reference this a lot, but with, like Vern said, the defense being on like a string, right? And then you have Miles Graham, who's going to be the one that creates that string. Hey, how are we going to get everybody in place? Hey, if you're not in place, I got to be vocal and I got to get you there. I got to move you around. And then, like you said, with Aaron Childs, like, I mean, he's a physical specimen right there.
I mean, you like when the football gods created linebackers, like that was the body type.
That one right there. Yeah.
Yep.
He's a freak. And so it's just like, I think that this room, again, like you said, I know we talk about the wide receiver room, but I feel like for this team to be successful as a whole, I feel like it's this room right here. This room right here is going to I wouldn't say make or break us, but I think that if we are going to exceed what everybody thinks about us, I think it's going to run through this room. I think big plays are going to be made by this room. I think that game-changing plays will be made by these guys right here. And again, these are guys who, being the leaders that they are, I think that they are going to be great examples for, like you said, what is to come in molding the next generation and then the next generation. And it's like, because it's a domino effect. You could either not lead by example and it just becomes a jumbled mess all the way down until someone finally changes it. But instead you have somebody like Miles Graham, who on the defensive side, he knows what that orange and blue means. He knows what it means to be in that uniform and to see what greatness is there. So when you grew up seeing greatness, you expect that at that place to be there and to be a part of something like last year. He's probably like, bro, what is this? Like, this is not what I grew up seeing. This is not what I've known. But this right here now, like you said, Summerall being a former linebacker, these boys know what it means there. And I think that they have everything, the ability to exceed it by far.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that the defense, I think Brad White's scheme, from what I've seen and what I've heard from talking to some people on the D-line, this isn't going to be a bend don't break defense, right? This isn't going to be, hey, the guys at the line, they're going to keep their gaps. They're going to be in a frog stance. They're just going to try to stuff everybody up. That way the linebackers can kind of roam free. From what I've seen in watching tape of Brad White's defense, when he's got killers on the D-line and he's got a good linebacking core, he lets those D linemen play free and go at and pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. And he's expecting Jaden, Aaron, and Miles to be there to plug up and to block shed anybody getting to the second level and making a play. They're not using this D lineman to free up the linebackers. They're putting a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility on these linebackers to blitz and to block shed and get off of those tackles and those guards coming through the holes and make some plays. Because if they can do that, if they can really protect that second level, that's going to allow that D line to play aggressive, and then that's going to allow that D line to get pressure on the quarterback, and that's going to allow those safeties and those corners to have to be in coverage less time. And so less time in coverage, less time to throw the ball. It lowers the risk of somebody getting open, somebody, blowing a coverage, all of those things. And so I think if we have an aggressive D line, you're going to have to ask a hell of a lot more out of your linebackers than we probably have in the last few years. But the nice part is it's the strength of our team. And so we should lean into that strength. We shouldn't be afraid to expose these guys to that adversity. I think they're going to be able to overcome it. I mean, look at Miles Graham, right? 76 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 pass breaks up last year. Aaron Childs, 52 tackles. Jaden Robinson, right? Back-to-back 50 tackle seasons. We've got all those guys have experience. Those 3 have experience. They're all leaders. Jaden's been here forever.
Yep.
Those guys are not only going to be able to, lead the defense when they're on the field, but they're going to be able to lead those young guys, like we said, with Ty Jackson, Miles Johnson, Malik Morris, in the film room, in the locker room. They're going to be that lead by example, which I think is the most important thing you can ask for from your football team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head with the pin your ears back and get after him. I think it's going to be a lot more of it's going to be a more fun defense for the linebackers, getting to really get after the quarterbacks, getting after, I know we're going to touch on Oklahoma today, but even with the getting after Mateer or getting after Trinidad Chambliss, and it's like, really get them in just not in a groove, like get them in a funk where, you don't know who's blitzing you. Is that D-line going to come after you? Is these linebackers going to come after you? Are they going to drop back in coverage? That's the beautiful thing about this room is I think that these guys aren't it's not a Brian Urlacher back there or, even a Ray Lewis. Like these are guys who are very versatile. Like they can drop back in coverage or they can pin their ears back and get after you and get after the quarterback. Almost like they're putting their hand in the dirt.
And they talked about it too. Like with this being a new scheme, they're going to ask these guys to do some things that they probably haven't done a lot of, right? Like Miles Graham, I know in the spring touched on, he's trying to work on working on his dropping back and playing zone right over the middle, stopping that passing game over the middle with the tight ends or the wide receivers running drags. Aaron Childs dropped a little bit of weight because they want him to be able to be a little bit faster because they want to call on him to blitz when this D line's causing havoc. Find that open hole and go get after the quarterback or go get that running back for a big tackle for a loss.
Yeah, and just transitioning into the Florida versus Oklahoma game, because I think that these guys are going to be very, very, very big in this game to get a win. Just moving into the Florida versus Oklahoma game, we know what this game brings. Even there's things going just even before the game starts that is going to really bring a lot to this game. Urban Meyer into the Ring of Honor.
Yep.
Obviously, I know who I want Mr. Two Bits to be. It better be Major Wright. I don't care. I know people said Tebow. It better be Major Wright. There's not a clip better than watching him smack Manny Johnson on that sideline and then him talk in Swamp Kings and say, I didn't want the ball. Like, I wanted him. There's that. And then, obviously, they didn't get another national championship because of us. Right. So there's a lot that leads into it. But
it's the first regular season meeting ever. And it's Oklahoma's first time ever to Gainesville.
Yep. Huge different things that go on. Just kind of give me your breakdown of this game and what they bring, what they're going to bring into the Swamp and just kind of kick it off for us.
Yeah. So, Oklahoma is going to bring with Brent Venables, probably they were the best defense in the SEC last year, right? When you look at sacks, tackles for a loss, third against the run. I think they had some crazy stat. I think they only allowed 8 teams, or they held 8 teams to 7 points on defense, and only one game they gave up, I think, more than 28. 15.2 points per game allowed is crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
And they're bringing a lot of that back. I think this is probably going to be the best. I don't know if it's probably not going to be the best edge group we're going to face because we're going to go up against South Carolina with Dylan Stewart and Colin Simmons at Texas. Mm-hmm. But interior wise, D tackles, I don't think it gets any better in the SEC than this group.
Yeah.
This is going to be a game. This is going to be probably the toughest test, in my opinion, for this offensive line and Buster Faulkner.
Yeah. Yeah. This Venables' defense is going to be good. You know that it's just like playing a Buster Faulkner offense. You know that they're going to score. You know that this defense is going to get stops, and it's going to be a knockout, drag out type fight. In just the way he handles things. Now, I will say, I think that the one massive thing to this is that it's in the Swamp. That's number one. Number two, Urban Meyer getting inducted. I think it's gonna get some extra juices flowing. And again, I really hope and pray that Major Wright is Mr. Two Bits and they play that thing on the big screen. But that's just my personal opinion. But I do think it's going to be a knock him out, drag him out type fight here. It's not going to be we ain't putting up no 35, 42 points in this game. Like it could, we're not. I know that as much as I want to say we will, this could end up being a 17-14 type game or whatever the case may be. I personally believe, though, that John Mateer going into next year's NFL draft, I think that John Mateer is the best quarterback in that draft. I am very high on him, and he scares me a lot when it comes to this game. So
yeah, for everybody saying that, oh, John Mateer at the second half of the season didn't play well. Well, yeah, he had a pin in his thumb.
Yeah.
And go try to throw a football and not use your thumb. It doesn't really work that well.
Yeah, you're literally like holding it like this. Like it doesn't make sense.
This could be the most complete team in the SEC.
Yeah. I'm glad you're high on them too, because I was like, am I tripping for being really high on them? But I think John Mateer is like, I mean, I really do think he's an outstanding quarterback.
I think he's the first quarter. I know Dante Moore was highly ranked last year, first round. He had a first round grade, somehow for some reason came back to Oregon. I think John Mateer is the first name called probably in the entire draft.
If he's not, he should be.
But the first quarterback, right? It's going to be an absolutely loaded draft in the top 10 with, potentially Arch, Dylan Stewart, Colin Simmons. Jeremiah Smith's going to probably leave. It's going to be a humongous.
I read on Twitter though. I read on Twitter that DJ. You know what? Never mind. So when it comes to this game here, I think that with what it is here is we're going to have to bring a defense just like they're going to bring a defense, because that is going to be the difference there. It's going to be when at this point of the game, it's going to be, well, how has Florida's offense looked? Is whoever starts at quarterback and in that O-line, because like you said, the interior of their D-line, they're going to cause a problem. So you're going to have to get that ball out quick, and you're going to have big games from Jaden Ball, and even receivers being ready to take screens. And is the O-line able to shift and run with the receivers? Because, we couldn't do that last year. We hear screens at UF and we freak out.
Yeah, PTSD, yeah.
Yeah, if it's run properly,
screens weren't the problem.
No.
Blocking was the problem.
Yeah, the head coach was the problem and everything that came along with it. But so with this game here, we know everything that comes along with it, and we'll touch on it more. But again, who are players? And I know I always usually ask like, offense and defense, but I think it's going to be a little more than that on this game. What is some areas that's like, hey, you have to win that area? Like you got to win. You have to win that battle there, because again, where do you think it's very crucial?
To me, I'm not too worried about Florida on defense.
Okay.
If I was to pick an area that concerns me on defense, it's John Mateer's legs.
Yeah. That's why I brought up the linebackers.
Because again, he's one of those guys that he doesn't just tuck the ball and run, right?
Yeah.
He's not like a Byron Brown where we're going to see in week 3 against Auburn. Mateer will keep his eyes downfield and wait to the last second to try to throw that ball. And if nothing's open, right, because we do a good job in the secondary of covering everything, again, it's going to come back down to these linebackers. They're going to have to haul ass,
yeah,
and get after that quarterback, because he will take off and run.
Yeah.
And then for me on offense, right, with Florida, their biggest impact player is David Stone. David Stone is again a potential first round pick at D tackle. I think he was the number 1 D tackle when he came out of high school, 5-star plus, absolute menace, terrorizes offensive linemen. Thankfully, I think we're going to be pretty strong, at least at guard and center. But even on the DN side, they've got Taylor Wayne. So to me, this is like you said, this is going to be, and I know we said this Tuesday with the Georgia game, but I think this game even more is going to be that old school, low scoring SEC football, like that old school Alabama LSU. It's a 17-14, maybe even 10-14. I don't foresee either one of these teams really giving up a lot of points, especially at this point in the year. I think, barring injury, I think both these defenses are going to be pretty well accomplished. But it's going to come down to offense, and I think it's who has the better offense and who makes less turnovers.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think on defense, I really believe it's going to be these linebackers. I think you got to put a spy on Mateer, because like you said, he can run, and that's never been a doubt. He's not like a he's not a Manziel. He's not a Byron Brown like we're going to go against. But I would say he's a lot like a Trinidad Chambliss, where Trinidad can roll, roll out either way, and he can take off running. But while he's running, every second his eyes are downfield. He's using peripheral to watch the defense, but he's looking downfield also at where he needs to go. Oh, is this receiver hitting a crossing pattern? By rolling out, am I creating, more time for my receivers to get open and then chuck it downfield? And that's where it keeps you on your toes the whole game. That's why a linebacker like a Miles Graham. Okay, are we putting a QB spy on Mateer? And it's like, hey, if he even remotely moves out of that pocket, you got to pin your ears back. You got to go get him. Take off, go get him uncomfortable, and put him in the dirt. And then offensively, I think, like you said, it's going to be, no matter, I think it's going to be our O-line. I think that it's easy to say like a J-ball. I think it could be like a Florida versus Auburn when P. Ryan hit that huge run. Mm-hmm. I think you could get one of those from like Ball that is like, it's 10-10, and he breaks a big run that takes us. Like if we're going to win it, it's something like that could end up being the dagger that their defense got caught slipping, and a ball or a Pryor or whatever, they hit a huge run that either sets us up in range for a field goal or something along those lines. But our O-line is going to have to play. Like, it's one thing to go play against an Auburn, in my opinion, but it's another when you go play against an Oklahoma defense that's going to be coming to town.
Yeah, I think it's interesting when you look at the SEC schedule that we have. We open the year with Auburn, Ole Miss, and Missouri. And I think those are three very offensively dominant teams.
Yeah.
And then we go to South Carolina, which I don't think is dominant on either side of the ball. And then we kind of end this, right, our little SEC gauntlet, as some people have been calling it, with Texas, Georgia, and Oklahoma. I think we end it with three defensive dominant teams.
Yeah.
Because as great as Texas, I think Texas and Oklahoma are both very well rounded, but even though they've got Sarkisian's there and he's an offensive minded coach, I think Texas's defense might be better than the offense this year. And then obviously I think you have two phenomenal coaching matchups with Buster Faulkner versus Kirby Smart and Buster Faulkner versus Brent Venables on defense with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
These are three games are going to be the gauntlet. I think every Florida fan, if you're being realistic, you'd like to win 2 out of the 3. Realistically, if you told me we win 1 of those 3, I'm probably not mad. I'm indifferent about it. Mm-hmm. Because I do think these 3 games are going to be by far and away the toughest matchups of the year. And then, the last 3 games of the year is Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and then a G5 school up in Florida State. And so I think this is really kind of their last big, test. Yeah. And depending on how the schedule lays out, we could either be, needing to win this game to stay in the playoffs or make it into the playoffs. Or, maybe the season doesn't go the way we want. I think it's these 3 games. If you can win 2 out of 3, I think the odds of us making the playoff skyrocket.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Just real quick on this, we finished it undefeated. Just in case you're wondering. Yeah, undefeated. No, I think when it comes to this and just really, let me take off the orange and blue goggles here.
Take off the other pair too. You've got 2 on, I see.
I got about 4 of them on. But I think that out of the 3, right, you look at those 3, like we've talked about, this is like the mountain here. And I'd say it's not a very far margin. I think that you could, it's right there.
It's a 3-week peak.
Yeah. I mean, this can be hell for us Gators fans for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah. Or it's going to be the greatest year of our lives.
Yeah. I mean, this podcast literally might burn to the ground because of how hyped we are. Like, we might destroy everybody's phones / computers / TVs because we're screaming so loud from hypeness. But I do think when you look at the 3, this is the most winnable, only because of our crowd. Like, Mateer coming to the Swamp, it's going to be loud. So that's why I say this one's the most winnable. So that's why if you can win one of the other 2, if God forbid we lose one and everybody comes and starts roasting me, if we can win one of those 2, this one is definitely winnable here, because that crowd, it plays a huge factor. You've
Yeah.
seen it. Ole Miss comes in hot, playoff chances, stuff like that. That crowd got to them. Texas, Ole Miss back in the Vern days. Ole Miss comes in as the #1 offense. And I mean, they're just wiping people off the field. They come in, crowd impacts them. And so you have all these different factors to it, but that's the #1 factor. So it's like you said, if you can win, if Texas or Georgia, and you tell me like, hey, you can pick one of those to win, you got to lose the other, and then you're going to beat Oklahoma because that crowd, cool. 2 out of the 3. If we win 2 out of the 3, we're going to be in the playoffs.
Well, I think if we can beat Georgia or Texas, if we can win one of those two,
yeah,
I really like us here because the team's going to be behind it. The swamp's going to be rocking. Yeah. You've got to win one of those two. You can't go 0-2 and then come into here because I think it makes it a lot tougher. Yeah. But if you win one of those two or you win both, I mean, the swamp might be the loudest it's ever been because Gator fans are starving. Yeah. For a team to actually play top end talent and beat them. Right. Not just with players on the field, but with coaching.
Yeah. And I think when it comes to momentum, like we've talked about, right? Momentum is a huge thing. We've also touched on, and I get it, this is going to be some weeks apart, but they are going to have to play that Red River rivalry. Like they're going to have to play against Texas. And there's a lot that comes from that. Do bodies get beat up? You know, is there a couple week injuries, things of that nature that comes before?
They got to play Michigan too.
Yeah, they play Michigan. That's another one that's going to be a tough one. Again, the Texas, I mean, that is like us.
Their schedule's front loaded. That's the only thing that worries me.
Yeah.
Like they play Michigan, Georgia, and Texas.
Yeah.
Before us, they kind of get some tune-up games. They get Kentucky, Mississippi State, and then South Carolina.
Yeah, we get Texas.
So they could be coming, even if they stumble against Texas or Georgia or Michigan, they're gonna be coming in hot to the swamp in my opinion, because they're probably gonna beat down Kentucky, Mississippi State, and South Carolina, and those guys are gonna be ready to go. This could be one of the hottest matchups and best matchups we've had in the swamp in like 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong.
And with all the pageantry and everything else that's going on with the anniversary and Urban Meyer getting inducted, and then again, like you said, if they can just get the 2 bits right, you got a shot.
Please. Like I'm trying to find someone to email or text message or something like, guys, do not screw this up. Make him say no to you. And I swear on my life, if you do not put that up on the big screen, that hit, like, please embarrass these cats out there. I got to ask the question. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but I need your player on offense and I need your player on defense.
For Florida to win, I'm going to say the player on defense has to be Miles Graham. And I think I said that for Georgia too, but I think Miles Graham's a big one. If I wanted to switch it and not do it back-to-back weeks, I'd probably then say I think you got to have a big game from Jaden Woods.
Yep.
If he can terrorize Mateer and they keep them under 14 points, 17 points, I think we've got a pretty good shot. Yeah. On offense, again, it always comes back to Jaden Ball.
I say, you know who it is.
He is going to dictate so much of our ceiling and our floor for this season.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think it's hard to do these last 3, right? Because it is that. Like it's like you said, it's going to be those guys. That's why they have.
We're not going to win the headline's not going to be Florida throws the ball all over the swamp to beat Oklahoma, in my opinion.
And if it does, I'm going to tell you
unless we get down like 21-0, in the first half, and then they've got to throw it. But if we're down 21-0 in the half, I don't like the way this game ends.
Yeah, and if they say that Florida threw the ball all over Oklahoma to win the game, I just said it.
Book your SEC championship tickets. Then.
Yeah, go ahead and book the playoffs. Like, go ahead and be ready for it. Like, it's going to be real crazy in Gainesville. Yeah, I'm right there with you, though. I I think I'm on the 2 on defense. That was where my mind was. It's Miles Graham or it's Jaden Woods. You need somebody that can contain Mateer and can really disrupt him. I'm going to stick with Miles Graham. I think they're really going to let him command the defense there. I think that will be the game that actually, I think the NFL is going to see. I think us as Gators fans, we know what he is, but I think that you're going to really see it from him. You're going to see how much he commands that defense.
Well, and I remember too at the D-line barbecue, I said, "Hey, 9th best SEC linebacking room," and he was like, "We're gonna shock the world. We're gonna shock some people," and they have to. And like you said, there's gonna be a lot of opportunities for him, but this is gonna be maybe his last big one to really show everybody else other than Gator Nation, because we know what we've got in Miles Graham, but it's going to be his time to show everybody who he is.
Yeah, and he will. He will. And again, it's going to be Jaden Ball. There's a reason that you had everything that happened in the offseason. You had all of us on pins and needles waiting. Like, is he going to enter the transfer portal? Is he going to stay? What are you going to do in that moment that's going to show NFL scouts that, hey, this is a first-round guy, that he is going to be who we fully have hyped him up to be? This is a game for that. That running back room as a whole, but Jaden Ball has to lead them. And when you have those moments, if you creep down the field and you're really just chiseling away at that defense, when you get in that red zone, someone like Jaden Ball has to get in the end zone. You have to. Like, you got to use every ounce of your body to get in that end zone and show why you are who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a game I'm excited for. Again, please UF, please Scott Strickland, please whoever runs it and decides it, please don't screw this up for me. I know you guys watch this show Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. Don't screw this up for us, because I can't. Like, I need Major Wright to be Mr. Two Bits. I need it.
All right.
It's
final score
70-0. No.
Okay, no, that's it, guys.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'm gonna go.
Bet your mortgage on Prize Picks.
Oh, this is tough. I'm gonna say 2017, Florida.
So we're still undefeated in your record prediction. You can't do it, huh?
Spoiler alert. We're gonna stay undefeated on Tuesday as well. What about you? What's your score prediction?
I've been an optimist. As we've done these series, I think we're what, 6-1, 7-1. I don't think we beat them this year.
In the swamp.
It's close. I think that, again, I think Texas, either Texas, Georgia, or Oklahoma are probably playing each other at some point in the SEC championship. One combination they're playing in the SEC championship. I think next year, if we go to Norman, I like our odds a lot better. It's another year with Summerall and getting his guys in there and building that culture. I think it's a low scoring game. Again, it's going to be another heartbreaker. I'm saying low scoring 17-14 Oklahoma.
I can't. It makes me sick to my stomach. Oh, man. No, yeah. I think my reasoning, though, is when it comes to especially this game, and I know that I'm extremely Disney Gator, I understand, but I'm a very huge advocate in home field advantage, and I really, really think that the swamp, especially if this is a night game, everything that surrounds it, I really, really believe that it's going to impact that team. I think that quarterbacks break when it comes to the swamp. I just think that crowd noise, I think they can think, oh, I've been here. No, you have not been here, especially at night when you got everybody tailgating around that swamp, and then they come into that place and it is roaring. And again, Urban Meyer, there's just something about him that just energizes people. You know what I mean? It's just, he brings an extra energy. I like it. I like
our odds are going to change depending on our record going into this game.
That's true.
If everything's on the line and we're in the top 12 rankings, then again, like I said, then give me the Gators. But
yeah,
I think again, it's a first year coach. Brent Venables is a really good defense.
Yeah.
Our weakness is going to be on offense.
Yeah.
And so I think it's, again, some people may watch JB just pick us to go 12-0. I am at least going to be, I'll have a little bit of optimism, but I'm going to be a little bit more truthful.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I know that
By the
this
way,
is a tough.
if we don't lose another game the whole season, like if my record prediction that we do and we go 10-2 or 9-3, if we go 10-2, we're in the playoffs.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I
still
mean,
a pretty optimistic. Everybody gets mad at me, but it's still a pretty optimistic year one for Summerall. 10-2.
I mean, you won't see me crying about 10-2.
By the way, we lose 2 games. We lose the 2 I predicted. Find me one Gator fan that's mad.
Right. Yeah, no one's gonna be mad. Honestly, 9-3, no one's mad because with this schedule like this, I'm telling you, it goes back to like Texas last year, a 9-3 season. Now I think if you lose these 3, you're not in the playoffs. You're not. Like you have to have a game that is like, oh, it was a slip up, like they lost at Mizzou, whatever, something along those lines. But
9 game SEC schedule. If you go 9-3, you've got a shot. It's not great odds, but you do have a shot.
Yeah, I'm just saying that these 3 are like that's your mountaintop, like we've talked about. You cannot lose all these. You might.
There were teams on the fringe last year that were 9-3 that didn't get in, but they didn't play a 9-game SEC schedule.
Right. I just think that nobody else will be good enough that if you don't beat one of these 3.
Oh yeah.
Like if you beat, I think no matter what though, you beat one of these teams. If we can beat one.
It's also
of these
how you
teams,
lose. If you lose these 3 games close.
Yeah, that's true. Valid point.
Then you're a really strong 9-3. If you get blown out, yeah, we ain't got a shot.
Yeah, very, very valid point. We'll see. Like I said, I'm just gonna give you guys a spoiler here. We ain't losing. We're doing this leading up to the season. I can promise you one thing. I can't say it. I can't. Like it just feels like
it does feel weird. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it feels like I'm like there's like throw up in my mouth. I can't do it. But yeah,
you're not gonna talk to me again for another 24 hours. It's fine.
Yeah, I can't. Now I'm like, oh my, he just said we're gonna lose in the swamp. When Urban Meyer's getting into it, I was like, oh, I'm already like blocking your number for a few days. And but no.
I'll talk to you next Tuesday. It's fine.
Yeah. I just want to touch on this real quick. I know we talked about it last show. We are going to be at Caroline Beatrice Parker Elementary. That's a mouthful to say right there.
Somebody asked me the name, and I was like, I have no idea. Just look up elementary school Gainesville.
Yeah, seriously. Or just message me, and I can send you a screenshot of it because I'm probably going to mess it up as we get closer. But we're going to be tailgating there. There's going to be some cups to give away. We might have a couple other surprise giveaways. We'll talk about those at later dates. And so come by, see us, have some fun with us. Let's hang out. We'll get some record predictions from you guys and score predictions up from that actual game. But yeah, we can't wait to see you guys. Smash the like button, subscribe for us if you're watching this, share this out for us. It really means a lot. We are on the road to 2,000, trying to get there as soon as possible. So, we're still having fun in this oversaturated market, and we love it. So here we go. Say the name again. I missed it. It is Caroline Beatrice Parker Elementary. I don't know which one it is. You say that first name. Clip it. It's one of those two. I can promise you that. But that's where we'll be. Come look for us. It's going to be a blast. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Kyle, as always, it's a blast.
Always a pleasure, sir.
Clifford, if you're watching this, thank you again, bro. Much appreciated. We love you guys, and you guys know how we end it here. If you ain't a Gator, y'all know the rest. Go Gators.